Okay, this motherfucker is still fucking up my goddamn microphone.
I thought you had it all figured out yesterday.
I thought I did too, but I don't know what happened. Alright, we're going live.
We are live.
Oh, we are?
I just got the notification.
Alright, well, can you see us?
I'm going there now, so.
Yeah. This whole thing. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. Turn it off. This background noise.
It is just the picture that you have of us.
Yeah, they should be able to hear us though. The audio should be streaming.
Right, guys.
Alright, let me transition.
Hey everybody. I see Lisa and Christopher and me are in there, so that's 3. First dirty bastard. Yes, you are, Lisa.
All right.
Toxie's having issues with her internet connection.
I just let her in. She should be coming in any minute now.
Oh my goodness, there she is.
Hi, Toxie.
I
think we're waiting for her audio to catch up.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. We sure can. All right. I will apologize at the beginning of this show. We are still testing technologies, and while we did run like an hour-and-a-half long test yesterday, I am still, as usual, experiencing audio issues. Let me know in the comments. One of these two ladies will let me know because I can't see comments. I might be able to pull them up on my phone. But let me know if you hear anything hinky. Also, excuse me if I get cranky in about 30 minutes because I had to turn my air conditioner off and it's hot as fuck up here. So that's how we roll. Anyway, welcome to
SinCityBounty.com.
Hell yeah, bitches. The 3 of us back, episode 2, all together now. Hell yeah. Ooh, excuse me.
One of the things that the COVID has been doing is honing everybody's technological skills, which is kind of good. Your grandmother, who wasn't able to operate a computer before, could probably operate it pretty good now. Since that's the only way to communicate with people.
Yeah. Oi.
So how are you ladies doing today?
I'm doing okay. I know at the beginning of all this COVID, like, work was super slow for me because I was only working like 4 hours a day. And now work is super slow for me because we have no product going out. Because, just as an FYI, while our casinos might not be shutting down, there's a lot of other places where their casinos are going to start shutting down. And that's the business I'm in. I am in the casino industry. And our thermal imaging systems are kind of at a standstill because there really is a limit to how much of that shit you can sell, because it's not like I'm going to put a thermal imaging system in my house. These are for commercial use, and there's a limited number of commercial properties, and all the properties that we have been selling to are being re-shut down again. And yeah, so like all of our California stuff, I don't know if y'all know that California shut the fuck down again, so woo!
So I'd like to start, if you don't mind. I know that today was supposed to be just like super casual and everything, and I really don't have a lot of topics I want to talk about because it would just be rehashing all the stuff that I usually talk about, which is, you know, Black Lives Matter and all that, kids in cages. And anyway, so I was scrolling through my feed right before I got online, and I'm in a group called Medieval Jollity. And so they post little historical facts in there every now and then, and usually in humor form. And this was a meme, and it said, during medieval times, women who were not virgins would place a leech on their labia the day before their wedding night. The sore left by the leech would then bleed during sex, giving their husbands the impression that they were virgins.
Wow.
And now you know.
I actually read in some historical fiction book, clearly fiction, that some unvirginal women would put like a piece of cut liver up inside their vagina, like fresh cut liver, and because that will look red and will, I mean, because guys are stupid. They don't know that a piece of your vagina is not supposed to fall out, right? So, you have sex with a guy and it's bloody piece of thing was like, oh, look, my hymen fell. You totally devirginized me. Women fucking with men since the beginning of time.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes,
But
indeed.
only because they set these stupid standards upon us. Oh, I'm only gonna fuck a virgin. Bitch, you're coming at me with your chlamydia ridden dick. Don't come
What
at me with that. I'm gonna bring
what
my
are
own
you
crabs to
talking
this party.
about?
What?
That's not a thing anymore.
No, it's not a
It
thing
hasn't
anymore.
been a thing since 1954. Like,
What's
it's
what's
not
not
a
a
thing that guys expect when they get married that they're marrying virgins. Like, it's not a thing.
Okay,
They're
so
not.
this
What used to happen is back, how many years ago, when women were just going to stay in the kitchen and guys were going to have the career, you saw a lot of people getting married nice and, early, like right out of high school. You saw a lot more earlier marriages then. I mean, now women are going to college, they're starting careers, they're waiting to get married. You're obviously not a virgin at, whatever age,
well,
and they're aware of it.
I
I
know
think that
some
depends
girls.
on where you grew up
Yeah.
and probably what religion you grew up in.
In America, yeah, it's probably a lot more prevalent that you're going to marry a girl and she's probably had a dick or two. But it's not as uncommon as you might think it is. So this I'm going back to 2006. I worked in the bridal industry for a couple of years back then, and I worked in this bridal shop. And one of the girls I was working with was surprise, surprise, getting married, and she was like 19 years old, and she and her boyfriend had been dating for like 6 years or some stupid shit like that, and he went off and joined the Marines and was getting out of boot camp, and then they were going to get married and move to his base. She was a virgin, and not like a fake
At
virgin, like she's
19.
telling everybody she's a virgin.
19.
No, this girl, I'm 100. Like I've met another girl who said she was a virgin when she got married, and I know that bitch wasn't. But this girl, 100%, I believe she was a virgin when she got married.
There are
And
still women out there, but
yeah,
what I was saying is they don't all have to get married out of high school now
oh yeah,
at
no,
18, 19 years old. Many women wait and go to college, have their career before they get settled down into marriage. So I definitely don't think here it's as common as it used to be. I don't
No,
think that expectation is there anymore.
I think
That
society
there's some people in some religions, but I don't think you have to be expected to be a virgin when you get married.
no, I don't think it's the
societally
expectation.
as a societally as a whole, I think you're right, but there are still pockets. And just so you remember, misogyny is alive and well in America today. So, because that's exactly what that is, the expectations that men put on women.
Yeah, it is. Oh, but it's supposed to be a light chit chat show. Bring down the patriarchy in the first 10 minutes.
I started with something funny. Well, not funny, but oh my God, I did
No,
not know
you
that.
started with putting leeches on labias.
Yeah, that's not
Right.
funny.
That's
Hey,
not
okay.
funny.
So, I am obsessed with Lin-Manuel Miranda now, right? Now, I knew he wrote the music for Moana, and I love Moana. It's probably one of my favorite new Disney movies, and the music in it is amazing. And I know that he'd written a couple of musicals, and of course, I've got a ton of friends who are like Hamill fans, right? But then Disney dropped Hamilton, what was it, last week? 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
They dropped Hamilton on their streaming service, and I have Disney Plus because The Mandalorian. Um, Ibiku Irasonare, FYI. And that's, never mind. I'm sorry. I just nerded out on The Mandalorian because I've been chilling off to that for a while now. But I watched it, and I watched it with the idea that I was like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this because I like Lin-Manuel Miranda's music styles, right? I did not realize that within 10 minutes, I would be fucking obsessed with it. In the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Now, I watched it with, we did like a watch party. It was me, my son, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my girlfriend's daughter, and my baby daddy. Was baby daddy there? Yeah, baby daddy was there. So we all got together and we watched Hamilton and we had dinner and it was a good time, right? That's what we did for 4th of July, by the way. On 4th of July, we were watching Hamilton. That's how we celebrated. And within 10 minutes, all of us had our fucking phones out. We were just spouting off Alexander Hamilton facts, Lin-Manuel Miranda facts. Like, we'd pause it and start discussing shit. Like, within the first 10 minutes, we were rabid Hamill fans. I have already listened to the soundtrack enough times that I can sing along to a lot of the songs, and so can my kid. So, Hamill fan for life. Lin-Manuel Miranda is amazing. He plays a character in a show on HBO that I watch and I love quite a bit, and I hope they bring back for a second season. And if they do, then I'll talk about it. But until then, I won't. But holy shit, he's amazing. So I've been watching all of his like interviews and like you know how Wired does that autocomplete interview where they're like Lin-Manuel Miranda is, and then he rips it off and then he answers the question or whatever. I've been watching
It's
all
the
of that
Google,
shit.
the
Yeah, the
Google
Google
search.
Translate,
Have
the
you
auto.
watched Have you watched his Jimmy Fallon clips where he freestyles or they do in a boat?
No, not yet. Those are coming though.
So watch him with Jimmy Fallon. Like they're friends, they're real life friends. And their clips are just, I mean, just so enjoyable.
I find
And
it hard.
he's an amazing rapper.
Yes, he is. I find it hard to believe that anyone could sit down for any amount of time with Jimmy Fallon and not walk away his friend. Like Jimmy Fallon just strikes me as the kind of guy who's like everybody's fucking friend.
I think he is, but like they do like extra stuff. Like at one point they went down and Jimmy Fallon did shows, I believe in Puerto Rico, and then Lin-Manuel came down, and I think he was the one who called him up and actually said, "Hey, let's do some shows here." So he's awesome. I didn't have the same effect as you. No, my daughter has been obsessed with the music, so she's a show tunes fan and a Disney fan. So I recognized immediately some of the songs just from hearing them. My whole day today, actually, she was filled with soundtracks, and at one point she walked away from her phone and she's like, "Skip it for me." Because it's one of her lesser favorite songs. But anyway, so watching it, the only thing I only got about halfway through, and for me, like it was amazing. I think it would be something better seen in person than on TV. Like I think it might be an amazing experience in person. But for me, I got a little bit bored, and it didn't surprise me. I kind of knew going in it might be. However, I absolutely am also obsessed with Lin-Manuel. Like I was like 5 minutes in and I'm like, I want to hump this. Like he's absolutely amazing. So I did enjoy that aspect of it. But yeah, I don't know, maybe it'll be a second go. I mean, maybe I'll really get into it like the second time, but I wasn't as obsessed as everyone else.
Did you make it to the point where the king starts singing?
I couldn't even tell you. I made it about halfway through it.
Was it a guy in a red cape, big crown, king looking dude?
Oh yeah, I think so. It was one of those where my daughter kept turning and she's like, "Can you stay awake?" So
that seems to be a thing with you. I think your boyfriend mentioned something about you falling asleep in a movie that I lauded as being amazing, and you were like, "I don't know, have I seen that?" Your boyfriend was like, "Yeah," and you were like, "Did I sleep?" And he said, "Yeah."
Yeah, I tend to, but this I didn't get too into it, and normally I would have moved on. I would have already said, like, I'm pretty open about like, "Hey, I'm really not into this. Maybe we can, try it again later." But my daughter was powering through it no matter what, whether I was alive or dead. Like, this was happening. She had been waiting for it for a long time. So
I think
I don't know. I guess I just didn't have that. I didn't have the same effect.
So Alexia, I know that you enjoyed Glee up until Homeboy passed away. You will like this for the musical talent. And for the history, you need to put on your history as being told on screen kind of
Yes. I've
glasses.
read a lot of reviews. I've seen a lot of commentary. All of my friends, all of you fine people have been obsessed with this since it came out on Disney. And everybody is commenting on it and talking about it. So I know I've read some articles and I've read some commentary. And so I know what to expect. I know the history is kind of agree to disbelieve or something like that. You know,
So a lot.
I have no issue with that.
So a lot of the factual stuff, like when they're just running through facts, because they do just kind of like lay down like a timeline of facts, but in musical form, so it's entertaining. Um, a lot of those are pretty accurate. What they take liberties with a lot is the personal interactions between the historical figures, because we don't have a record of that. We don't have a record of how they talk to each other. We have ideas, we have letters, and we have like written testimony
Results.
of other people, right, and the results. So just like any other time history is being told in a entertainment format, they have to take poetic liberty or poetic license with it. But when I went back and looked at the timeline, I mean, they got a lot of the dates right. A lot of what happened, they got right. The overarching theme of the history of it is correct. But yes, they did have to take poetic license with some of it. And as long as you're not going into it to nitpick the fucking history, because that's not what this is about. What this was about is to tell a story that a lot of people don't know and tell it in a way that would be entertaining so that your ass can go find and read books or fucking Wikipedia, for God's sakes.
I love historical fiction, as it were. I love history told in that way. I just got done watching When They See Us on Netflix, which is the fictionalized story of the Central Park Five and all of the things that they went through. And there's so many articles out about how they did exactly the same thing. The conversations between certain parties are considered liable by some people, even though the results speak for themselves. So I completely understand that. But I love watching historical fiction. I'm in the middle of Who Killed Malcolm X right now, so that's fun.
See, that's part of the problem. I do not love historical fiction. Although I don't know, never mind, this is nonfiction. I did love, there was a thing on Netflix about Waco, but that wasn't nonfiction.
I love that show. It would be considered fiction because it's not told as a documentary, it's told as a story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's more of a reenactment-ish.
Yeah.
Reenactment. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that. That was good. I had a hard time stopping from watching that. That was really, really, I remember it happening. I remember it in the news. I didn't remember any of the details. And it was good. It was a good production too Netflix puts out good shit.
They do.
So another thing that I watched this week is a movie that came out last year that I had never fucking heard of until it was in a meme that I saw on Facebook. And
I can't wait for you to tell us about this because I saw the post and your comment on it.
So it's a superhero movie, which blew my fucking mind because I'm like, how have I not heard about a superhero movie? Raging nerd. So it's called Fast Color, and it was considered a box office bomb. But it was only released on 25 screens, and there was zero budget put into the marketing for this thing. And the reason, a lot of people speculate, now some people, like, the marketing house and all that, they're like, oh, that's not the reason. But the reason is, and it's clearly the reason is because it's about three black women, three generations of black women who have superpowers, who, they saved the fucking world. Come on, you guys. Now, it's less about superheroes, and it is more about the interaction of human beings and family ties and getting over past trauma and recovery from addiction. Like, that's what a lot of it is about. But it is so well written, and it is so well shot. The cinematographer was amazing on this movie. And it was another movie night. Me, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, we watched this. Now, they'd already seen it. I have not. Uh, it was amazing. It's streaming on Amazon and Hulu, so go watch it.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, go watch it. It's fucking amazing. I'll watch it again. I'll probably watch it a couple more times, but the credits started rolling, and I don't even think the credits started rolling. We got to this one particular scene, which is the epiphany of the movie, the final blooming of the main character, and I we paused the video because I went fucking nuts. I was like, I need this to be a series. I need this to be a book series. I want to read the first trilogy. I want to watch the terrible sequels. Like I need this whole fucking storyline to be a series. And Amazon Prime is delivering for me. They are already developing a series for it. So
That's cool.
I'm super fucking excited about that, and I will be watching that series as well. And I'm just blown away by how good it is. Um, Also, Amazon is really coming to the rescue for fantasy and sci-fi fans. Just FYI, like Netflix puts out amazing shit, and they've got some great fantasy series that are like under the radar, kind of low budget, but still pretty good. Go Google them, and the anime on Netflix is second only to Crunchyroll. So go check out the anime on Netflix. But Amazon, they are knocking it out of the fucking park for sci-fi and fantasy fans. They are just fucking killing it. And
I love all three of those. Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can definitely live without a TV just by having those.
Mm-hmm.
But I watch the news during the day, during the daylight hours. YouTube streams NBC News, so I watch that most of the day, and it cycles through. But they always cut to live shots of the president talking, or Dr. Fauci, or they cut to Cuomo yesterday, which was kind of cool. That he's a badass. I'm gonna tell you, I think I'm in love.
Cuomo?
Yes.
I would also, in addition to Lin-Manuel, I would also love to like hump the Cuomo brothers. Like both.
I don't know if I would hump him, but I would definitely want to be in the room with him, when he's talking to people.
He has nipple rings. The governor has nipple rings.
what?
He has nipple rings.
How did I not
There
know
was
this?
a photo. Yeah, there was a photo of him. He was wearing a white, like one of those dry, whatever my daughter's soccer shirt's made of.
Right.
And you could clearly see his nipple rings.
All right.
You have to Google
Anyway,
it.
on the NBC News show that I watch on YouTube, they've been advertising for Peacock, which is the new streaming service by NBC. And so I wasn't thinking anything of it because I already have the three big ones: Hulu, Amazon, and Netflix. So you don't really need any more. But then I got onto Twitter, and I follow. I'm considered a Psych-O, which is a fan of the show Psych. And
So am I.
Peacock is going to be releasing the brand new Psych 2 movie tomorrow, along with the entire series and movie 1, which you can actually watch on Amazon right now. But
Series is on Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to go sign up for Peacock. But it's free. It's
I forgot that I paid for fucking CBS All Access. I need to go see what else is on there. The only thing I fucking watched on it was Picard. The only reason I got it.
Have you not watched Discovery yet? Star
No,
Trek Discovery?
I have not.
Oh my God, you're gonna love that series.
Really? Because I've heard that I should just start at season 2 for that. That season 1 was crap.
No.
I should just start at season 2.
No, I think you should watch it all. You're a Star Trek fan.
I am a Star Trek fan, but
Oh.
I don't know. I am trying not to be the kind of fan that I hate, where I'm like, only the good stuff is good. Only the stuff I grew up on is good. And I know a lot of motherfuckers like that, especially Star Wars fans. Oh, fuck those guys. I have to remember that all of these new series are what keep my fandom alive. They're what keep my cons going. They're what keep the cosplay going. Because eventually we age out, and so we need to bring in young blood, and that's what the new shows are for. That's what the new movies are for. You don't have to fucking like them, but you do have to appreciate what they're doing for your fandom.
Season 2 of Discovery is great, but season 1 gives you the foundation for season 2. So you have to watch season 1.
All right, fine. I'll watch it. Um, I am super glad that one of my favorite series on YouTube is back. Uh, Critical Role with Matt Mercer and friends from Geek and Sundry, where it's
That's
four
where they
hour.
game. Just
Yeah,
watch them do a gaming session.
yeah, you do, but they're all so well seasoned at this, and plus they're all voice actors and real actors, like regular actors. But they're all voice actors, so they're all really experienced at this kind of stuff. And they've been doing this now, I think, for 3 or 4 years. They've been doing Critical Role. And they took a 3 month hiatus because they were like, "How are we going to do this in a studio? We usually sit around a table, and we can't social distance that way." But I guess they figured it out. Now everybody's like at their own table, and they're all like 10 to 20 feet apart, and they're all mic'd up individually instead of group mics. And so
But they're still in the same room?
they're still in the same room, but they are their studio space is enormous. It's the kind that you're like, I want that, because because Geek and Sundry and Critical Role, they do a bunch of different types of videos. They don't just do Critical Role. So they're back in studio. They're back recording. They've put out 2 episodes now, and they're great. And I've been watching them so much. Them and a couple of other YouTubers that I really like that are into role playing, because I'm starting my own campaign in a couple of weeks. I've never been the game master or dungeon master for a game before. I've always just been a player. But
That actually surprises me. You seem like the kind of person that would be really good at being a game master.
I probably will be. The problem is burnout for me. I burn out really easily on stuff, and I'm not burning out yet on this. But I have 2 different 3-ring binders. One of my very expensive bullet journals that I never use for anything has become my game master journal. I have every possible, not every possible. There's a few more books I still need to get, but I've gotten most of it, and they're all PDF form because I don't want a big fucking book. I'm running out of bookshelf space, so I don't want all the books until I buy a house and have a room dedicated to this shit. But I have all the PDFs that I can get my fucking hands on, including like fan-made PDFs and stuff. And so I am obsessed with being a good GM because I don't want to be a bad GM, because I've been with bad GMs and it's like, yawn, I'm bored. They just read everything out of the book. There's no, like, holy crap, there's no interaction whatsoever. Matt Mercer and the guy that does TFS at the table, I forget his fucking name off the top of my head, and Seth Skorkowski, like, I want to be those guys. They're like master GMs. And I've also been trying to watch other people specifically playing this game system that I'm playing. And I'm like, holy crap, you GMs are awful. Like, because they're just reading it out of the book. And then, because the book's for Traveler, which is the system I'm playing, they're not like Dungeons and Dragons books. The whole campaign isn't written word for word. It's like, here's some highlights. Now you need to fill in the encounters. Now you need to fill in the dialogue that's going to happen. You need to create the NPCs. And so being a writer, like, this really calls to me as being a writer. Like, I'm creating this entire world that, like, I've got the bones and I'm putting the meat and potatoes on it, and I'm fucking obsessed. And I'm like, how many things can I drop from my life just so that I can do this all the time?
So I've been a game master before. I used to have a gaming group many years ago, and we had to take turns just to avoid the burnout thing. Mm-hmm. My biggest tip to you is the people will not want to follow your campaign the way you want them to follow it. So you have to be really good on the fly. That's what
all of the professionals keep saying. All of the tips for GMs, like the number 1 tip is be prepared, have your campaign written, know what's going to happen in the story, in the storyline that you want, but be prepared for them to do anything and everything that is not on your list. Like, be ready with extra stuff. And,
right.
And one of the things about Traveler is it's specifically designed for that. Like, you are supposed to be ready. It's
Have you ever done any kind of gaming, Toxie, at all?
No.
She plays Candy Crush on her phone
sometimes with my niece and nephews.
You play Candy Crush on your phone.
I play Candy Crush obsessively. Phase 10.
I was talking about like Dungeon and style, kind of Dungeons and
No.
Dragons style.
No.
You've never been interested in anything like that? You've never. What about the man? Does he do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, he's into a bunch of nerdy shit.
And you just pat him on the head and go, "Good for you. Go ahead. I'm gonna
Super
go shop."
cute.
So one of the things I want to do for our patrons and in our secret Facebook group and our Discord server and all that is I'd like to run a little mini campaign for just the three of us. There's a system called Tiny D10. You only use one type of dice. Characters are pre-generated. The story is very linear. So I think I'd like to try to run that with the three of us. But it will take a lot of training beforehand. But I think that might be one of the things that we do for our dirty bastards. If you look above us, look at these dirty bastards. These are all of our Patreon subscribers, and they get to help us out with the channel. A lot of what they do is sit and watch us do technical testing in our super secret Facebook group, where it's basically
True.
me in my underwear with no bra on, looking like everybody's fat, angry, southern smoking grandmother. Just, figuring shit out. But we throw memes in there and stuff like that. It can be a pretty vibrant community. We finally got Toxie on Discord, so if you're one of our patrons, you get access to our Discord server, and you can chat with us. And Toxie and I are both in there now. So
What's kind of cool on that, it pops up, unlike the messages and stuff in our group, like the Discord, the messages pop up on my phone.
yeah, mine do too. That's one of the cool things I like about the Discord notification. It's like, boom, here's the message, and I can mark it as read,
Right.
which I'm kind of in the habit of doing. So if I don't get back to you guys till like later in the evening on something, it's because I marked it as read, so the notification went away. And so when I'm going back through at the end of the day, I'm like, oh shit, I should have replied to that, and then I reply. What are you
So
two
the
thinking?
only problem that I see with running a little mini game with the three of us and allowing others to take part.
No. I didn't
would
say
be-
allowing anyone else to
Oh,
take
okay,
part.
okay.
No,
Because
no.
you know that shit would degenerate into sexual positions and fellatio and all kinds of crap like that.
No.
And that would just be by me.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Sorry, guys. I know you perverted motherfuckers out there would just try to get on and be like, oh, who was that one asshole that we stopped talking to in that email? I'd be like, you guys are teasers. Now, fuck you, bitch. We ain't never told you we were going to give you nothing, bitch. Never.
Yeah.
Look here. Ooh, bra strap. So sexy. Fuck you.
Yeah. He joined it to get in the group. And then he wanted to know, like, where's the pictures and stuff? Like, where's the good stuff?
Yeah, like, what did you fucking expect, dude? Have you not watched this show at all? Don't just go and join a Patreon, subscribe to some Patreon account because uh, it's three fat chicks and you think we're desperate enough to get naked in our Patreon account. First off, not allowed. Second off, not allowed. Third off, fuck you. Just saying. This is what we do. This is what you want. This is what you want to pay for. Is this shit right here? This high quality. Sorry, I couldn't get that out without laughing. This high quality streaming show that we are bringing to you live from my hot ass fucking bedroom. God, it's so fucking hot in here. You know what? Y'all gonna have to deal with the air conditioner sound. I'm sorry. It's hot.
It's not the sound of the air conditioner that bothers us. It's the fact that it overrides your voice.
Yeah, I know. But I need a little air conditioner. And I need to stop talking. I have been hogging the fucking screen time, you guys.
Toxie, what do you got?
I don't have much. I have nothing really. I finished Sons of Anarchy this weekend. It was very emotional. A little more emotional than, I like to get from a TV show. I had a lot of, as it led into the last season, I had a lot of like anxiety. There were times that I had tears. It was very difficult to watch.
So, as someone who has personal prejudices, tell me that Sons of Anarchy is not just about a motorcycle club.
It is.
I mean, that's what the premise is, but there's more to it as far as the family aspect of it. And then there's, like there's what you expect in that type of show where there's like guns and drugs and murders, and it's pure television. Like it's just pure television. It's pure entertainment television. I will say what it gave me, the best thing I got out of it is following Ron Perlman, who played a character in there for most of the series. Following him on Twitter and watching him get into arguments with Ted Cruz, as well as another representative. That was worth it all. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It just, I don't have any desire to watch that show at all. I mean, I've heard about it and I think I've seen scenes from it and I've heard my friends talk about it. But I mean, like with Hamilton, okay, I want to watch it. All my friends are into it. They really love it. But then, of course, it's all also historical. So that is a draw as well. Sons of Anarchy just doesn't.
Right. It's not historical. The only tie-in that it has to anything is there are a few people on there who were actual Hells Angels, and they consulted a lot with the Hells Angels, but it's very unrealistic. Like, don't watch it if you want to see, something legit.
For me, I've tried to watch it, and I grew up around bikers, both legit motorcycle clubs and legit biker gangs. And the reason I don't watch it is the same reason I just couldn't get into Breaking Bad, or I couldn't get into a couple of cop shows and stuff like that, is that it eventually ends up like The Sopranos. It glorifies these behaviors. And I just can't get into it because
I think that's a big reason of why I'm not interested in watching it at all.
Like,
it's a fictional show. It's much like Sopranos, or I loved Breaking Bad. When I watched Breaking Bad, I couldn't stop watching it. And these were shows I didn't watch in their original run. I had zero desire to watch them, but other people recommended it, and I got into it. I watched Weeds because someone kept telling me that I reminded her of the main character who, sells drugs at soccer. And not that I do, but, she sits there and she sips her drink with a straw while shit burns down around her. And that was great. And then, there are others. It's the same as like watching Shameless. It's a shit show.
I had to stop
based
watching
on reality. But
yeah, I had to stop watching Shameless because it was too much like how I grew up. It was just too much. And
it gets a little crazier later, like when the father's dating somebody and she wants to have his baby. So he convinces his son, like he pays his son to give him sperm in a cup. The cup is then used to impregnate the lady who has twins. And then later, the new boyfriend like shows up with one of these twins or whatever at the door. It's so not realistic. It's not real stuff that would happen. Those in real society, those kids would never be left in that home for as often as the authorities have to visit them. So,
and I take it watching those shows would not give you insight into the way that certain people live then.
No,
it wouldn't.
No, you're not watching it for historical purposes or like, hey, I want to learn how to make blue meth. You'll watch it for those reasons. You watch it if you just want some pure entertainment.
I got a quick question for you, Toxie.
Yes.
How many more cats are we going to get in your video screen?
I left them in the room, so they all just apparently.
Love it.
I'm gonna move really fast and see if you can see this one behind me. This cat's name is Chonk, because a chonk. It's the biggest cat like you'll ever see. And this one's actually my little cat. I don't want you going out there though. No, you sit there, but you can't go out there. I'm gonna move really fast. This cat sits behind me. It's so big that it uses my back to prop itself on the back of the couch. Like that's how it holds itself up. So wait, hold on, ready? I don't know.
I love your kitties. They're beautiful.
Yeah. I got 2 extras that kind of got left in my care. So I have a few more that I prefer.
So I just started watching, I don't know if I like it yet, but I just started watching Twin Peaks.
I tried.
Old show from years and years ago.
I remember my parents were obsessed with that show, and I tried watching it, and I got like 2 episodes in, and I was like, I just couldn't. It's too.
I didn't watch it back in the day either. I couldn't.
Yeah, I think I'm on episode 2 right now, and right now the only thing I know is that everybody is sleeping with everybody else.
Yeah.
Last night, you guys might want to check this out. Hold on. My daughter wanted to watch Unsolved Mysteries. So they rebooted Unsolved Mysteries. Mm-hmm. And that's what we were watching. And it was good. It doesn't have that host, which that part's disappointing. And it doesn't have like all of the reenactments, like the cheesy reenactments that the show used to have. But still worth watching. Although at the end, I'm like, well, what the fuck happened? Like, now I want to know.
Wait. So I saw that it had dropped on Netflix, Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes.
Right? It's not the old series. It's a brand new series.
It's a reboot. I think they dropped the old series, the original one, and then they dropped a reboot. So far there's 6 new episodes, and the first one. So you're watching it, right? And I'm like, oh well. I mean, 10 minutes in. The format used to be they would go through 4 different stories in an episode, and now they focus on one. So 4 minutes in, I'm like, or 10 minutes in, I'm like, well, we've covered this one. Now what the fuck are they going to do for the rest of the time? But there's like twists and turns. And then it's like, wait, where did that come from? Like, how is that even, I wasn't even paying attention. The next thing you know, we're talking about like Freemasons in here and like just all of this. It's totally, it's like it was, except they spend more time on each episode. And then sorry, go on.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
My daughter wanted to know, did this show ever actually help catch people? So we did the research. And yeah, when it was originally out, it legitimately solved a lot of mysteries. It helped find missing persons. It helped find people. I want to say that it said maybe half the suspects they were seeking, not the cold cases, although it did solve cold cases too, but the fugitives that were wanted, like half of them were found because of the show. So
I may have to check it out. I will say, and the only reason that I might want to check it out is because I do like murder shows. There's a podcast that I listen to that is just 2 girls who joke around a lot as they describe, serial killers and what they've done in their life or whatever. But I got lost on Facebook video. If you click the little video button and you can just scroll through. Mm-hmm. And usually I watch all the cooking stuff, like the decorating the cake or the different, patas or whatever. But I was watching, and I don't know if it's a channel, but there was a series of videos on Facebook video, and they were all like 15, 20-minute videos about a particular crime. And these crimes I had never heard of before. One was a husband who came home and killed his wife and his kids. And I was like, oh my God. And so, yeah, that was enthralling, as it were.
That's how I was with these as well. I'm like, I've never heard these before. And they seem big enough. Like the very first one has to do with, and I'm not giving spoilers because, again, they're unsolved. But the first one has to do with this guy like disappears and then they find his body. But where and how they find his body, like there's not really a good plausible reason for a way that his body even got there. And I'm sitting there going like, was he dropped from a helicopter? You know, what happened? But yeah, it's interesting.
Well, if it's not as the cheesy 80s, 90s show that it was, then I might have to check it
Not
out.
as cheesy. It's missing a lot of the cheesy reenactments, which I did enjoy. I also started, just throwing it out there, I only got through like part of one episode so far, but they rebooted the Babysitters Club.
I've heard that.
And
I've
I've
that
heard a
it's,
couple of my friends going crazy about that.
yeah, I've heard that it's super inclusive, that it's really good, that they're sort of following the books, which I think I read like 60 of the 180 books or however fucking many there are.
I have never watched or read or anything about the Babysitters Club.
Yeah, and though I love the books as a 11 or 12-year-old, which is who they're designed for. I don't know if I would enjoy the TV show. Although I did enjoy Fuller House, so maybe I into the reboot thing. I don't know. I'll have to go check it out.
I wasn't too into Fuller House. My daughter loved it, but I wasn't too into Fuller House.
Are you into the Babysitters Club, Toxie?
Huh?
Are you into the Babysitters Club?
No, I watched part of an episode so far. I mean, I'd watch if it's on. If my kid wants to watch it, I'll watch it. It was definitely interesting. And shit, I can't think of the actress that was in the first one, and I'm like, oh, Alicia Silverstone. I also read the books, but I read the books as an older, as a teen versus a tween. But my dad used to work for a paperback book manufacturing company. So I got books out the ass. Like, we got a lot of free books, and that's all I did when I was younger is I read.
Holy shit.
And that just so happened to be a series that his company manufactured.
I want to go back in time and be your fucking best friend, because
you would have went nuts.
Holy shit.
You would have went nuts. Even to this day, so my father retired years ago, and the last time I was at his house, his basement was full of boxes, because I worked at the place for a while myself. When you walk in, they have a bookshelf for free books. And then when you're working a line, if you're working the line and they don't, it's not books, paperback books, if you've never watched it, it's super cool how they're made. And they're actually made as two books together, and then they're cut. But if if the cut's not perfect, if it's off, it all goes in the free books. Like, it all goes as to what you could take.
So I'm gonna need you to text me the address for your dad's place.
Yeah,
I'm gonna help.
You're gonna find a shit ton in his basement. Yep, a shit ton. But when I was in 7th grade, I had this classmate who I used to read a book a day. For 7th grade, like, that was my goal, a brand new book each day. And so he used to make a song about all the books that I was reading, but they were all free books. My dad, even when I was older, his company produced all the John Grisham, Dean Koontz, and all the big books in the series most often came from his manufacturing facility.
I'm gonna need to go raid his basement. Hold on, I gotta buy a house for my books.
Hey, you'll find them. They'll be old and smelly because they're in his garage, and that's where his garage is downstairs. It's like a basement-y connected to the garage.
Listen, the smell of a book is very important. The older the book is, the mustier it is, the more life is in that book.
Yeah, so you would like it. And I'm pretty sure he probably still has boxes up at the farmhouse. So
is this the dad with cigarettes and porno as his emergency plan?
That's correct.
All right. Your dad and I will get along well.
Yeah. It's the farmer. But yeah, no, I read a shit ton. So I read like all the Sweet Valley Highs, all of those, and I read the, Babysitter's Club, even though I was a little older. But,
I read Nancy Drew. I'm about 10 or 15 years older than you guys. Yeah. So during my tween years, it was Nancy Drew.
You're only
the Hardy Boys and Trixie Belden.
I didn't read Hardy Boys because they were boys. I wanted to read the girl stuff. And then
Yes.
I never even heard of the Trixie Belden thing. So.
Trixie Belden's very much like Nancy Drew, but she had her own series. So they solved, her and her friends got together, they wore cool jackets, and they solved mysteries.
I read all of Stephen King's works that were out when I was a teenager and a kid. I remember distinctly getting in trouble in third grade because I was reading a Stephen King book. And then Walter Farley, who wrote the Black Stallion series, I read everything that he wrote. And when his son took over after he either was incapacitated or passed away, they weren't as good. But there was one book I remember specifically where he started branching into this new storyline for the Black Stallion, and it involved aliens, and it was amazing. It was like sci-fi mixed with horse fiction, which I fucking loved. So it was amazing.
Yeah.
I read a lot of pulp novels, sci-fi pulp novels. There was one, I think they made it into a movie, about this guy who would travel through this interdimensional portal kind of thing, which he had to be naked when he went through it. So, but he came out into a world that was so misogynistic, with cavemen, half naked cavemen, women running around, and saber-toothed tigers that they were fighting. And I was pretty young when I started reading those, but that's where I fell in love with sci-fi, was those.
I have the books, and a lot of these sometimes were sci-fi-y, where you choose, it's kind of the choose your own adventure.
Oh yeah.
And you go through, and it's like, if you want to do this, go to page this. If you want to do that, go to page that.
I love choose your own adventure novels. I actually didn't get into sci-fi until I was in high school, and it was because like my freshman year, like I read a lot of fantasy and I read a lot of horror, but sci-fi specifically I didn't get into until I had to do a book report, and I didn't like any of the authors. I had to do not a book report, but I had to do an author research paper, and all of the authors on there were stupid assholes like Charles Dickens and shit. But then there was Isaac Asimov on there, because he's not the father of science fiction, but he certainly is the motherfucker who made it amazing. And
right.
So I picked Isaac Asimov because it just said sci-fi author next to his name, and I started doing research on him. And then I read the Founders trilogy, and I read Foundations, and a bunch of other things. And I was like, oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, Asimov is, bar none, one of the best science fiction writers around. So, well, I think we're about an hour.
We have been broadcasting for 54 minutes and 22 seconds.
All right.
As a counter down here on my OBS studios.
Anything else we want to discuss while we're on?
No, I want to plug Patreon again one more time for the new listeners, which probably like one of you maybe. Please support us on Patreon. Patreon will give us money so that we can make things better. Right now, we make just enough money to pay for the website and the domain name, and we'd like a little bit more money, because I would like to do something better than my 5-year-old laptop and a 10-year-old webcam, combined with a pair of plug-in headphones and my 42-inch TV, to broadcast really nice streams for you guys, because we're probably going to be doing this until sometime next year.
Yeah, I think so.
Money. Yeah, send us money through Patreon, and you can become one of our very own dirty bastards, just like the guys you see above us.
We know that you're watching this on Facebook, but if you're watching it on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. The videos will be coming up more regularly than they have been. I know last week's is not up yet, but that should be up tomorrow, and then this one should be up tomorrow as well. We also have individual pages on Facebook. Toxie has her own page. Sierra has her own page. Alexia has her own page. So make sure you go like and follow those. We're on Instagram. Toxie did a little video on Instagram that just blew up my phone for notifications last time. And so go follow us there. And Toxie also has her own Instagram. We are on Twitter, although that usually just announces our YouTube videos. But Alexia has Twitter as well that she's rarely on, but hopefully we'll do more of. So make sure you follow us on social media as well.
You can follow me.
I'm Alexia.
I'm Sierra.
Toxie.
And we'll see you next time.
If you're brave enough.
Later, bitches.
All right, don't say nothing. We're still live. Hold on. And